Welcome to the channel. If you missed it, we got a good one today. Stephen Harper, probably one of the best speeches I've heard from him, and I was a Stephen Harper follower from when he became Prime Minister all the way through. This had to have been one of his best speeches. He laid it out. He had an emotion. That was one of the reasons I believe Justin Trudeau took the reins from him, is because although he was a statesman and he did great things for our economy, he wasn't the best speaker. And this is a time when Barack Obama was making, very hopeful speeches, and then Sunny Ways comes along. Anyway, I divest. Last night in Edmonton, reports say anywhere from 12 to 15,000 people showed up for Pierre. And in case you missed it, Stephen Harper introduced Pierre. And let's take a look at some of those highlights.
Wow, what a fantastic crowd. Thank you, Edmonton. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making yourself a positive part of the most important decision that this country is going to make in decades. Canada right now needs change more desperately than it perhaps ever has. And it needs someone to lead that change, my friends. As someone who had the honor of serving as your Prime Minister, I know that being Prime Minister is a trust. It is a trust to take this incredible country that our ancestors bequeathed us and to leave it stronger, more united, more compassionate, and more confident than we found it. That's what we did, my friends, but that is not the story of the past decade, and that has got to change for Canada.
He's absolutely correct. I always start my videos now. I start and end with the graph showing the last decade of growth per capita, and we're second from the bottom. It was the lost Liberal decade. The next clip here, he talks quickly about being in the unique position of having both leaders, Pierre Poilievre and Mark Carney, who have worked under him in the past. And let's see what he thinks. Who would be the better choice?
You know, friends, I am in a unique position in this federal election. I am the only person who can say that both of the men running to be Prime Minister once worked for me. And in that regard, my choice, without hesitation, without equivocation, without a shadow of a doubt, is Pierre Poilievre.
Just listen to that huge crowd cheer when he says Pierre. It's music to my ears. The next clip, he talks about Pierre's experience, because right now the left and the Liberals mock Pierre for being a servant of the people for 20 years. Pierre got into politics, if you read his book, because he is so passionate about doing what's right for Canada, and he sees the potential. I wouldn't mock anybody for that. You got a guy who is a glorified banker who comes in here and thinks he's just deserved the position. Walking around, I'm the PM, you're a caretaker. You're a caretaker, that's it. And let's hear what Stephen Harper had to say.
I have known Pierre Poilievre for a quarter of a century. Since he was a very young man, the first time I met him, I could see that he was smart, articulate, possessing tremendous passion for our country and strong convictions about sound public policy. In 2004, during the time of my leadership, Pierre's parliamentary career began. He went progressively from a backbench MP to a parliamentary secretary, to a junior cabinet minister, to a senior cabinet minister, and of course, to party leader. And in all of those roles, he worked, he fought, and he learned. Because it is not just that Pierre excelled in all of those roles. In all of them, he grew. He got better and better. Friends, don't let anyone tell you that he was born to be Prime Minister, or that he can just somehow parachute into the job fully prepared. Political experience, elected, accountable political experience, and the capacity for growth with that political experience, that is what Pierre has demonstrated for 2 decades, and that is the single most important characteristic a Prime Minister needs.
Right on. And again, someone who has chosen to serve their people because they want more for the country and they see the promise that Canada has, how we could be the richest country in the world and the freest. We have such a great country. Someone who's served for that long should never be mocked. The next bit here is when Prime Minister Harper really gets gritty and fiery with his speech, and it was great to see. I miss Stephen Harper over the last 10 years, let me tell you.
And by the way, I say that as the guy who actually did lead Canada through the global financial crisis. I hear there's someone else claiming it was him. It was, of course, our government, the late, great Jim Flaherty, and our Conservative team who were responsible for the day-to-day macroeconomic management during that challenging time. And friends, it's no secret that our country faces today another historically challenging time in the form of the Trump administration. There is no sugarcoating that. But the bulk of the problems that afflict our country, falling living standards, declining employment and housing opportunities, rising crime, the growing divisions between our regions and our people, these were not created by Donald Trump. They were created by the policies of 3 Liberal terms, policies that the present Prime Minister supported and wants a 4th Liberal term to continue. Pierre has consistently opposed those policies. Policies that have put costs up, accelerated crime, left our wealth in the ground, and made our economy vulnerable and under America's thumb. And Pierre has, just as importantly, long advocated the positive alternatives for change, to axe those taxes, build homes, bring back jobs, get our resources to the whole world. And stand up to Washington from a position of strength. Friends, I believe that the challenge this country faces today from the United States, as real and serious as it is, should not be another excuse for Liberal failure. Instead, it should be a historic opportunity. That's how we've got to see it. An opportunity to make Canada what it should be. Internally united, internationally connected, a truly independent economy with the highest living standards in the world. And with those benefits enjoyed not just by protected elites, but by all the people of this country in every region of this country. And do bring it home, friends, because that goal does not depend on Donald Trump. It depends on us. But we will only get there with leadership from a person who has an actual policy plan, from a person who has been right on all the big issues for a decade, and a person who has the energy and, yes, the youth to take us forward into a better, stronger, and more united future. That person has been my colleague, he is my friend, he is our leader, and he is the next Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Poilievre, and Anna.
Wow, 100%. 100% I agree. This is an opportunity to turn Canada in the right direction. This is the problems with Donald Trump and tariffs, which are a normal thing around the world, are no reason for us to forget what happened over the last decade and where we are in this country right now. Mark Carney is not going to come in and solve those. He has been there for 5 or 6 years as the economic advisor. He has been part of the problems. So you need to pay attention. You need to vote. You need to research. I can't say it enough. If we don't vote for change this time around, nothing's going to get better. Nothing's going to improve. But you tell me what you think. I thought that was a great speech. I'll attach the full video from Edmonton so you can see Pierre's bit if you haven't seen it already. They had some technical difficulties near the end, but it was a great speech of him going over all the things he said he's going to do. And again, he's a guy that sees the potential. He's a statesman. He is an economist. He has a plan. I'm sorry, the Liberals have no plan. Anything he has announced, he has just stolen a few days later after Pierre announces it. It's time for change, folks. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe my video, help my little channel out here. I really appreciate it, and thanks for taking the time. And tell me what you think of Stephen Harper's speech and his endorsement of Pierre Poilievre. Thanks again, and make sure to do your part and get out and vote.